Yeah, I need that.
Oh, really? Not random, but I'll see you guys. Just roll with that for a while. Don't use that as an excuse, you know. Sorry, guys.
Okay, hello. Are we ready? Director? Great. Well, let's bring the meeting to order of the Cameron Park Community Service District Board meeting for Wednesday, March 20th, and let's have the roll call.
Director Moore?
Here.
Director Stoughton?
Here.
Director Wooten?
Here.
Director Morrison? Here.
Can we please
I
join?
didn't forget, I have that for you. Director Cross? Here.
Thank you. Can we please join Director Wooten in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great, adoption of the agenda, please. Any conversation about the agenda and some motion for adoption?
Move to adopt with one change. I'm sorry, I don't have my one. To move the grant information topic up, so that there will possibly be able to participate.
Okay, so that would be item number 14, and you want to move it to before, after 10? Or before 10?
Whenever we can begin.
Okay, we'll move it to before 10. So we'll move item 14
Before consent agenda,
before the consent item.
after the presentation.
After the presentation.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Otherwise, I move to approve the agenda with the one change.
All set. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moved. Adoption agenda with that change. Now is the time for recognition and presentation. And also, welcome everybody. It was really nice to hear all the chatter in the room and conversation. I didn't want it to stop, but we had to start getting our business going. So let's talk to the County Planning and Building Department update, the first presentation. Yep. Who's that? Hi. Everyone like it? Jill, do you want to do a
Preview? Well, I will introduce Tiffany, and then make sure that I have your report. Schmidt. I thought it was a D, I didn't want to do it. It's a D in there, so. Tiffany Schmidt is the Director of Planning for the County of Sacramento, and they're going to talk with us today about land use planning in Cameron Park area and how that all works.
Where would you like me to stand?
Right over there.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, thank you. I'm Tiffany Schmidt with the County of El Dorado. I'm the Director of the Planning, Building, Economic Development, and Code Enforcement Department. My presentation is very brief. I wanted to introduce myself. I want to introduce you to a couple of my staff members and just make a general statement that the department is in, with my new appointment, the department is in, we're like on a roadshow, I guess is what I feel like. We're really trying to open our doors, be more transparent. We know that a lot of decisions and projects are brought through our department that ultimately get decided by either the planning commissioners, board of supervisors that might have an effect on your community. And we are making a great effort to engage our public, our board-appointed commissioners, talk. And then we've also brought with us Jean Warner, who is an analyst in our planning department, who's overseeing a project that might be of interest to some of you. So I'm happy to answer any questions too, specific to me, but I'd like to have my staff.
So can you give us an overview of what your jurisdiction is and what you, is that something that everybody here already knows?
Yeah, maybe not.
That-
So we're county department. So El Dorado County has two incorporated cities. We have the city of Placerville and the city of South Lake Tahoe. And those have their own governing bodies. The remainder of the county is unincorporated. So the entire county is about 186,000 people. And the vast majority of those residents live in that unincorporated area of the county. So that is the jurisdiction that we oversee. So that includes Tahoe. But we have a lot of oversight, of course, with TRPA, so there's a set of regulations there. So we like to make a difference between what we call East Slope, which would be the Tahoe area, and the West Slope, which is everything from the summit down to the west, so all the way to El Dorado Hill. I'm really happy to answer any questions.
Well, then, what kind of projects do you oversee?
We oversee, so we are responsible for the oversight of all land use projects that come through. So those can be both county-initiated projects and those can be applicant-initiated projects. For the most part, they are applicant-initiated projects, so whether it is something as simple as a boundary line adjustment, say you and your neighbor have an agreement and you want to move your line of your property over 5, 10, 15 feet, everything to large, what we call tentative subdivision maps, or even on a larger scale, specific plans. And you may know that we have a few specific plans that are in process through the county right now, one of which, they're all in the El Dorado Hills area, although Lime Rock does encompass part of Cameron Park. And I think the important distinction there to make is that these are applicant-initiated projects. Applicants have the right to ask the county to do something on their land, and we, as county government, are required to process it, and then we bring those projects forward to our decision makers, whether they're the zoning administrators, the planning commission, or ultimately the board of supervisors, to make a decision, policy-level decisions on those types of projects. And then everything in between, design review, which we'll get into a little bit today. There's conditional use permits. Say someone wants to do something on their property that's a little different than what's otherwise allowed by right in the zoning ordinance. There's a process by which they can do that. We're now processing vacation home rentals. And then also in my department, we have building, of course, which is the section that actually issues the building permit once all that upfront planning occurs. All the way to code enforcement, economic development. Okay, yeah, thank you.
We'll take questions later too, so now,
Oh,
if you want to finish your presentation, then we'll take questions after.
okay.
Well, Anne is walking up. I just want to acknowledge that Anne was very helpful with us in getting our T-ball field out at Rasmussen in the queue. So anyway, we're working with her and she's very helpful.
Well, and we also have one of my staff as well, public, that's working really closely on that. So anyway, we're really looking forward to it and meeting you. So, as Tiffany mentioned, I'm the Deputy Director of Planning, and we're kind of revamping the whole planning and building department. We both have had other county jobs prior to this, but in September, the former planning and building director retired after 28 years. That was Roger Trout, and so some actual recruitment went out to actually fill not only his position, but create this new position, Deputy Director of Planning. And so both Tiffany and I kind of came on board, went through the whole recruitment process, and we're offered positions in the October timeframe. So we've really only been in our positions about 5 months. We've been doing a lot of staffing up within our departments and kind of putting people, not just butts in seats, but people in the right seats. So we're really looking at making sure that people are maximizing their talents and skills. And so one of the things, so I actually oversee the current planning functions and the long-range planning functions. And what that entails, as Tiffany touched upon, in current planning, we have what's called the Permit Center, They primarily deal with people coming in the front counter with questions, more ministerial type questions where things don't have to go through a review process that Tiffany mentioned. We also have a unit that's the discretionary projects, and those are the ones that do have to either go through a zoning administrator review, then up to the planning commission, and sometimes the board of supervisors. And then we have 3 units in that. We also have long-range planning, which is, we deal more with the long-range planning unit, looks more at the general plan and what hasn't been implemented, and so we do, every year, long-range planning looks at what hasn't been implemented in the general plan, and then the report to the board. Long-range planning also is responsible for implementing ordinances that haven't been implemented, and also tweaking ones. So, for example, in 2015, we did a major overhaul of our zoning ordinance, and at this time, we're actually doing some tweaks to that. And so we did a round of kind of minor cleanups to the zoning ordinance, and now we're going to do some major cleanups. And then another aspect that we're working on is we do some community planning efforts. And one of the ones that we're working on now has to do with coming up with developing community design standards for commercial and multifamily in the community regions. And so some of you may not know, but in our general plan, we actually we have defined 4 community regions, one of which is Cameron Park, El Dorado Hills, Shingle Springs, and then the combined towns of El Dorado and Diamond Springs. And so what we're working on is we actually are getting ready to kick off this effort with the help of a consultant, the De Novo Planning Group, and they're out of El Dorado Hills. And so I'd like to have Jean Warner, because she's going to be our project manager for this, and our community liaison, and she's also going to be managing the consultant contract. I'd like to invite Jean up here to kind of give you an overview of that effort.
Well, thank you for giving us the forum to talk about our new project. We're really excited about moving forward with this, and we're hoping to begin in April, in next month. We're negotiating a contract right now. We're excited about our consultant, the Novo Planning Group, and they're really looking forward to this project as well. The contract will consist of 4 components. One will be project initiation, community assessment, and project management. Component 2 will be the environmental review for the project, and component 3 will be the development of the design guidelines and standards for Shingle Springs. Component 4 will be the development of the design guidelines and standards for Cameron Park, El Dorado Hills, and Diamond Springs, El Dorado. One of the first things that we'll do on the kickoff of the project is recruit community members, residents, and business owners to participate in community advisory teams. So we will have an application process for that and let everyone know that this is coming. But everyone is welcome to apply for that, and if anyone who would like to have an input on these guidelines that we're developing. And then once the design standards and guidelines are developed, we will present them to our board of supervisors for adoption. And once that is done, they'll streamline the process for future new commercial and multifamily residential development. So we expect this effort to take 2 to 3 years to complete. But once it's done, we're hoping that it'll really make an improvement in all of our community regions. So I did bring some fact sheets that talk about the project, the description and the background, and why we're doing it and so on. And my contact information is on these. So I guess we'll put them back at the back table for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the board have any questions right now that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, I have one question. It's actually not related so much to the design review. I just know that there's been a lot of work done to look at the Cameron Park Drive exit off 50, and I'm just wondering
So that's a Department of Transportation project that is separate. But I do know that they had conducted it's a very expensive project that's in the county capital improvement program, and they did conduct a study. They contracted with an outside consultant to develop alternatives for that interchange to try and find a less expensive alternative. But beyond that, I'm sorry, I don't have any other details. I can gladly give you the director of DOT's contact information and reach out to him.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is there any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So what is the name of the committee, the local community committee that you're establishing?
They're called just the Technical Advisory Committee, right? Did I put on the Community Advisory Committee, the CAC? Yeah. Community Advisory Committee.
Okay. And so that's going to be focusing on commercial and multifamily, which is different than the Cameron Park Design Review Committee, or perhaps you can speak to what the differences between the two committees will be.
Do you want to speak to that, Jean, or, I mean, I can look at it if you guys know better.
So for this effort, the community advisory teams are just going to be working with the consultant and the county staff to help guide what Cameron Park would like to see in terms of different features, design features, for just strictly commercial multifamily zone in Cameron Park, or actually the 4 other regions, so in your aspect. So basically, what will happen as the result is, once we get these design guidelines and standards, and the more they can be standards, is projects that would come forward would not need to go through the design review, because as long as they're complying with the standards that are adopted, then those projects can be more streamlined, as Tiffany mentioned earlier, and not have to go through a design review process, as long as they're meeting those standards. So that actually this committee is only going to be a short-term effort, only going to be working with the consultant during the time period of this particular project. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and then there'll be opportunities to update that when those standards are developed.
Update the standards, or, I mean, the standards could be looked at down the road, but we're hoping that with this effort, that it would be pretty well established, going through the whole process.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Director Wilson?
It's unreal.
I'm sorry. I was wondering if part of this will be going up Starbucks about, I think, less than a half a mile. There was a project in the works that was coming to Cameron Park's area.
Kind of like a specific project or a site?
There'll be a project and roads.
You're talking about the project that's already being planned right behind Rite Aid there?
That's the one, yes.
Okay, that one's already in the works now, that's an actual, it's a single-family development, it will be subject to these standards, my understanding.
It was my understanding there would be some single family and some multiple.
It's Cameron.
Well, just as a matter of process, if we have existing projects that are working through the queue, they wouldn't necessarily be subject to these guidelines, because the guidelines aren't adopted yet. And so that, yeah.
Thank you.
Last question, you said that there is phases in this project, there's 4 phases, is that what you said, and what were those 4 again?
It's 4 components, and then the first one is the project initiation, and then the community assessment, which involves touring all the communities, and that component also includes the project management. Then the second component is the environmental review for the entire project, and then the third and fourth components are the actual development of the design guidelines and standards.
And for all the 4 regions that you mentioned?
Yes. Yes.
And this is something that's being funded obviously by the county, correct? Is that different than the single branch project that they're doing that also includes content, or is it the same?
It's the same project.
So, but it's for all school regions, because I thought, it's my understanding, Shingle Spring was going to be the first.
Yes.
And then after that, to go next.
Yes. The three will, Cameron Park, El Dorado Hills, and Diamond Springs, El Dorado will be conducted together, but each community will have its own community advisory. So each group will be involved individually and have input into their own guidance and standards.
Okay, great, thank you. We'll take, if there are any questions from the board,
I'd just like to make a comment, having worked with the planning department over the last few years, it's very exciting to see so many women having been elevated. That's a big change. I'm sure it's a big culture change up in the county as well. So just wanted to congratulate you. And we all look forward to working with you, making Cameron Park that facility.
as you can probably tell, you're a very supportive board member. We would like to take questions from the public.
Yes. Did you say that you were also part of code enforcement?
We have code enforcement in our department, yes.
Okay. To date, my knowledge is that you have one code enforcement officer for the entire county, and you said you were staffing up.
Yes. We currently have 2 code enforcement officers for the county, but one of the first things that I did was to ask the board for 2 additional staff, which they approved in November. And I have offers of employment out to 2 people that should be starting in 2 weeks. So we will go up to 4 code enforcement officers, plus and then also supervising code enforcement officers, so there's really 5. And then they have 2 support staff. So we have significantly increased our code enforcement with the intent of starting to have a more proactive approach to code enforcement, as directed by our board of supervisors. Yes.
I am curious about this. Is the code enforcement, your staffing up, that's excellent. I know this is just going to be more than just fences. Are you also going to be doing code enforcement on the weed abatement? The weed abatement that the county is working on with CAL FIRE?
The vegetation management? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So the vegetation management is currently under review. It's up at our CAO's office. So the way kind of government policy works, you have the development of the policy up at the CAO's office, and as they work toward implementation, it gets kind of pushed down into the department to implement. So they're still in the policy development phase of that vegetation management, which is part of code enforcement, but I'm not sure that it's going to end up in code enforcement. We're working with the fire district on that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Who else has a question? Dave?
Yeah, I guess with all marijuana that's going to be growing here in El Dorado County, you're going to need a big code enforcement staff to take care of that, but that's not my question. Is it your department that will ultimately have the sign ordinance enforcement?
Yes.
That'll be yours,
Yes, and we share that responsibility with environmental management, DOT, and planning, the actual enforcement of it, depending on where the signs are located.
So what about signs that would be located right along the Highway 50 corridor?
That are outside of Caltrans right away?
They're not on Caltrans right away, no. But obviously, they're very visible from the freeway.
Those, I would have to know the exact specifics of it, but that might be in DOT's shop, is what that sounds like. I can get you, we can talk afterwards, or maybe if there's a specific sign that you're thinking of?
Well, you could probably maybe talk to the director more if he has
Okay.
some ideas about it.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions? I do have a question. Are you responsible for the gas station on Cambridge that is taking 2 years to build?
Responsible how?
To get it either finished or something to go with it? Does it change off and with big sign on it?
I don't know, I mean, obviously it's in the building permit phase, right? Construction's underway, and it just hasn't yet been completed. I feel like I need to,
You might want to take a look at it, because I'm questionable in what's happening with it, because it looks like it's up for sale. It's not that also, I'd be curious to know what the situation is with the traffic at that point, if it does get open, because the gas station and the traffic on the highway is going to make that intersection change. Well, yeah, quite a bit. But if we could find out about that, it'd be great to let people know, because people drive by, and they're wondering what's going on, and the big joke is that we're going out to see
And a lot of that might have been developer related, but who should we correspond with? Okay.
I'm writing it.
Is there any other questions? Thank you so much for your presentation. We appreciate the time. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have another presentation today, and that's with Eldorado Local Waste Connection.
Okay. Our friend Jeff Bingo.
Yep, you're right.
Well, good evening. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Board, for the opportunity to present tonight. We're here to speak about the state of recycling. Our goal tonight is to educate. This is a step in a process of a conversation that we will be having with all of our jurisdictions on the western slope of El Dorado County about the state of recycling. Nothing less than a paradigm shift has occurred in the world of recycling, and it's important that we all understand that. Our goal tonight, again, is to share a PowerPoint presentation, an abbreviated version that we've shared with the El Dorado County Chamber and a variety of service groups in our outreach effort to get the word out there about how things have changed there. To that end, we have with us tonight our sustainability coordinator, Sarah Guerra, and our MRF transfer station manager, Rick Ball, who are really our most expert folks on what's occurring in the recycling world. Again, this is part of the process. We will be back on April the 2nd to meet with the Budget and Finance Committee, and then we'll be back again on April the 17th to present and answer more questions for the board. We'll do our presentation tonight. We're very happy to answer any questions that you folks might have, and we look forward to this ongoing conversation. My last point to say is this is important for a couple of reasons. One is that recycling is the right thing to do for a multitude of reasons, but despite the obstacles that are now presented before us, the state of California marches forward with its goal of achieving 75% diversion by 2020. And that's a vote we all share. And that it's important that we work collaboratively to reach that goal. And so we're very happy to share the why behind some of the changes that are occurring, how we intend to approach it, and how we can teamwork this. Thank you. Sarah, great?
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Byra. I'm the Sustainability Coordinator at Eldorado Disposal. Thanks, Jeff, for the introduction. If you wouldn't mind moving to the next slide. So today we're going to, our plan is to kind of illuminate the world of recycling. Most people I encounter in my role as an environmental educator put stuff in the bin, it disappears, and then there's not a lot of thought that goes into about what happens afterwards. So we're going to talk about kind of what happens after you put something in the bin, why we have the systems in place, and also talk about our challenges. So why do we have the recycling system that we have today, which is a single stream system? You have your cart at your house where you put all the different types of materials in the bin. That's your paper, your plastic, your glass. And the reason why we operate in the single stream system is because it's a great way to capture recycling volume. Back when recycling started, we were doing a system called source separation, which means we were, piling up our newspapers, we had our glass in a separate pile, our cans, our paper, etc. But when we switched to the single stream system where we gave everyone in the community a cart and asked everyone to put all the items into the bin, the volume of the material skyrocketed, which was a really positive thing when we had markets available to sell the material. So this really brought forward the growth and expansion of curbside recycling programs in El Dorado County and in Cameron Park. Go to the next slide, please.
So we're going to talk today about the two things that have occurred simultaneously in the recycling world. So one is the limited market. So like I said, with the growth of recycling, part of the reason why we had these program expansions, really capturing the volume of recyclables, is because we did have plentiful markets, particularly in China with the growth of China's economy. They were really hungry for material. In the 2000s, China was also building up for the Beijing Olympics. So there's a lot of kind of socio-political things happening that made China the ideal market to sell recyclables to. For a long time, we've had this really great harmony of, China was producing the materials that we buy and use every day. They were on container ships, arriving for us to buy, and then instead of sending container ships back empty, we were filling those up with recyclables to be remade back into new products. So we've had some change in the markets with China. Also occurring at the same time, we've had a really dramatic change in the waste stream. So the items that, I guess, can everyone raise your hand if you buy an item now that's sold in plastic, but maybe 10 or 15 years ago it was sold in glass? Can you think of something? Yeah. Milk comes to mind mostly for people. So there's been a dramatic change in the types of materials that we are handling. Next slide, please. So I'd like to introduce Rick to talk. Oh, okay. Well, can you talk about great, so I'll talk about, thanks, Rick. I'll continue to talk about kind of the recent history of our recycling markets. So like I mentioned, we've had the rise of recycling in the 90s and the 2000s, and during this time, China became the world's largest processor for recyclables, really accepting about half of the world's paper and plastic. It was also during this time that El Dorado and California announced our 75% diversion goal, which means that we are moving material away from the landfill. So this goal is set, we're shooting for 75% in 2020, which is, as we all know, next year. So we were, pursuing these recycling goals. We have these great markets in China. In 2013, we have what was called Operation Green Fence, which was China for the first time starting to put up a warning signal. And what they did was they introduced a 5% contamination limit. So like I said, we have our single stream system where we're sorting materials. We're putting all, paper, plastic, glass into the bin. We sort them out at a material recovery facility. And when we bail and send materials off to get remade, our processors understand that there's sometimes room for error. So we're sending a bale to 95% paper with about 5% room for error just because of the mixed recycling system. So they told us we have to hit 5% contamination in our bales. So that required more intense sorting at the facilities. And as I mentioned earlier, we've had a change in the waste stream, which has made recycling more confusing for consumers. So we're seeing an increase in the wrong items in the bin. So that was the first kind of warning sign, like I said. And then there was a sudden shift that was announced in 2017, a program called a policy called the National Sort. It went into effect sharply in 2018, and it introduced a 0.5% contamination limit, so reducing our threshold for error by a factor of 10, and also an outright ban of 24 materials, mostly in the paper and plastic area. So this has really been a large shift in the recycling world with the availability of markets. Thanks, sir. So as I mentioned, our waste stream has changed. Here's some images, just of some examples of things that we're seeing more often that didn't exist when recycling programs started. So in the middle there is an image of a soy milk container. That's the packaging. It's called Tetra Pak. So what it is it's paper that's lined with plastic. There's also a really thin aluminum layering in there, and then there's a plastic top that's actually different plastic resin than the plastic that lines the paper. So when we're sorting these materials, which bale does this go into? Does it go into the aluminum bale? Does it go into the paper bale? This item is not accepted in the recycling and goes into the garbage just because it is a layered material, too difficult to sort, and with those strict contamination thresholds, that's an area where we can't accept air in the recycling. Some other images are the new Flex pouch, which we see increasingly in packaging. So it's a flexible plastic pouch that is really difficult to sort correctly because it kind of behaves like paper in the sorting process. So it ends up being sorted incorrectly and counts as contamination. We also have seen a change in the way we consume materials, which affects disposal, which is we've seen a rise in e-commerce, the rise of Amazon. So we're seeing a rise in cardboard, which is an accepted recycling material, but the cardboard is coming in different shapes, which also affects the sorting. So the next slide, please.
Thank you, Sarah. I asked her to do a few extra slides because I could preach on this stuff. I love recycling. I love what we do. And Jeff, thanks for the intro. And Sarah, great job being concise. This right here is a few pictures. We thought it would be appropriate to talk to you guys about an audit that we did in October of 2018. We knew we had to respond to what's happening on a global market like we've never had before. Typically, what we would do is we would collect it, we would sort it, and then we would sell it. And it was no problem. Everything worked. The system sounded good. And that's why California marched forward in the progressive way to set goals at 55% diversion, 75% diversion. But now everything's been interrupted. And like Jeff stated in his introduction, it's a paradigm shift. We used to be able to, just like oil, barrels of oil, it would go up and down, right? We see it at the pump every day. The same thing happened with the commodities we collected at the curb. Aluminum up and down, paper up and down. As a company, we absorbed all those costs. We knew it was just part of doing business, and it was the right thing to do. But now, packaging has changed. The commodity value is dipping. China's economy is sinking. Wow, it's a new era, really, for what we need to do. So Sarah said, we need to do an audit. I said, yes, ma'am. So we grabbed a lot of material out of our trucks. Essentially, it was dumped at our facility. We grabbed it with one of our loaders and we put it on a conveyor belt. That conveyor belt was going about this fast. That's what it takes to sort out all of these materials. If you can imagine, right, when you're making cookies at home, it's easy. You grab your chocolate chips, you grab your flour, you grab your sugar, and then you put it in the bowl, and what do you do next? Mix it up. And that's exactly what our garbage trucks do, or our recycle trucks. You guys, we all put it in carts, and then we put it in the truck, it gets all mashed up, and now our job is to try to figure out how to pull it apart. And if some of us aren't doing the right thing, or we make a few mistakes, or we think we're doing the right thing, would you go to the next slide? Like pillows. When has that ever been accepted? Or Fruit Loops? I don't know. I don't think it has, but those were in our curbside collection vehicles. That was in one of the carts with the yellow lid that I think we're picking up tomorrow at my house down the street. Unbelievable. Next slide, please. A few other items. Right, we have thrift stores for these items, but they felt if they put it in the cart, it would end up somewhere that it could be used. So what this tells me, not that people are breaking the rules, not that they're intentionally trying to ruin things, they really want to do the right thing. They want to reduce, they want to reuse, they want to recycle. Unfortunately, the system for curbside collection has its limitations. And we'll talk at the very end about really what is accepted, and that's what we need to work together as a community and as a team, really. I mean, Guitar Hero, I'm sure maybe you could sell that on one of our little Facebook social buy-sell trades. The flowers, I could take them to my grandma, I don't know, the pitcher, my office, but not in the curbside bin. So those are just a few items. If you can go to the next slide, please, because it's going to take us working together, because right now, in 1 ton of the material, so that's 2,000 pounds, we have roughly 540 pounds of contaminants that, one, we can't sort out, or it's just plain the wrong thing, like the pillow or the Fruit Loops. And right now, our buyers, which, yeah, we still sell to China, we're trying to sell domestic, we're trying to sell to Vietnam and Indonesia, they all expect the same thing, 10 pounds of contaminants. So that's our goal. right here, is that we need to be at 0.5% or 10 pounds for every 2,000 pounds, not 27%, which 27% came right out of an audit in November of 2018. We are going to plan an audit this April, and it's got Earth Day coming up, April 22nd. Also, Jeff and I, we're going down to Pittsburgh, California tomorrow to meet with all of the other MRF facilities across California to talk about how do we achieve these goals and work with our community so that this change is understood. So we're going to work together with that. Let me go to the next slide, please. And 2 more buttons. There we go. So the tension is increasing around the pressure to recycle more in spite of global market constriction. 2 weeks ago, or maybe 3, we met with CalRecycle to discuss diversion, and annually we have a teleconference. And CalRecycle is the body of the state that has been asked to follow these guidelines set by the legislature. So when we met with them, we talked about the markets, and of course they were interested on what our challenges were, but they said that nothing's changing. If you do not meet these goals, you will be fined. You will go under a review process where you have to file reports. You're going to have to do more things, which frankly, as an operator, that just slows me down and keeps me from achieving some of these goals. But we know that we need to work together to achieve those. And then the changing waste stream really magnifies things. My wife, for example, she's married to me, and I do this for a living, yet she makes a mistake. So it's not easy. I mean, it's confusing for all of us. And when we put the cart at your house, we said, when in doubt, recycle it. When in doubt, put it in the cart. Oh man, we're going to find a way to recycle it. We're going to do everything we can. We're never receiving the amount of feedback. There was nothing happening from China back to the U.S. It was all okay for the things that we mentioned. But it's confusing. So we just need to regroup and hopefully go through this kind of relaunching of what curbside recycling is and how we can be more successful. Go to the next slide. So what you can expect is a focus on both quality and diversion. Remember we had mentioned quantity was goal number 1 when we launched the curbside recycling. Now it's about quality and diversion. So recycling, food waste, I believe just on the 15th of March we sent out all the service guides to all the residents here in Cameron Park, so hopefully you received those in the mail. But that far right service guide, that's new, that's updated, that's designed. We're really trying to make it simple, straightforward. And if you do want to know more, we encourage that. Just when in doubt, don't put it in the recycle bin. When in doubt, find out. When in doubt, download our app. Plug in whatever you have in your kitchen and see if you can figure out if it can go in your bin. It's really helpful on many fronts. Sarah has been extremely helpful and available to many folks who are extremely interested. Some people actually ask how they can help. So hopefully this is just one tool of many as we do more outreach in the coming year and years to come so that we can achieve 75% diversion. I believe Cameron Park has always come together to participate. I mean, everybody has a card and everybody puts it out. I mean, there's a great participation right here in Cameron Park. So I think if we all work together, I think we can overcome these challenges. It's just a new way of doing it. So as we get more and more into this, I know Jeff and I talked, and we'd like to invite any of the directors, if you would like, to get on one of our route trucks on the service day in your area here and see what the process is like to collect the cart. See how many carts we pick up in a day, or if you have a half an hour, we can drop you off, jump in the truck. Pretty amazing. Even stepping out and lifting the lid, looking inside some of the carts. Or if you want to get on the truck right before you come up to our facility up in Placerville and see how it's dumped onto the ground. Maybe you guys want to have a tour of Cal Waste where all the material gets sorted. That's down in Galt. I don't think we're going to make a trip to China, but let's just start there and please come out and do that. I think our drivers are great and they'll tell you what they're noticing, and having you guys there would really be helpful. So thank you for your time. We'd like to answer any questions and be here as a resource.
County and Service Board. Director?
I want to go on the tour. Who do I talk to?
Great, we'll email Jill all the information, and we'll make sure we schedule that one-on-one based on your schedule. So Jeff, and then Ross, right behind Jeff, he's our operations manager. So between one of them, we'll be able to have a dialogue. I don't know if you have more details, but...
No, all I want to say is our drivers would be thrilled to have the company.
Yeah.
You want to ride in the truck and go through your own neighborhoods or see the area where we service, so we're very happy to accommodate that. And there are a variety of ways we can do that for you, and work with your schedules as well.
Is there any other director questions right now?
I did have a question, and I don't mean this to be rude, but all the drivers are insane. I mean, about 6 months ago, they came down, and that thing that they grabbed hands with, they lifted it up and boom, scan and all. And that was the last I saw it. I had to wait 2 weeks to get it again. But anything. So they stopped and say, oops, excuse me, or anything. They're gone.
We occasionally have a cart go into the hopper and it's trapped. It does happen from time to time. There was a time when we told the drivers you can actually get down in there and retrieve that cart, but we don't find that the safest thing to do, and so we'd rather replace your cart.
I don't think I'd like to see a driver doing that.
Director Morrison, do you have Director Carlson? Thank you, it's very informative, and I hope to find time, I'm scheduled to go and go out there and see it. I'd love to see a facility as well, so let's see if we can figure that out. Thank you. Director Stevigan.
So, it looks like there's quite a bit of work that you guys need to do. What type of planning do you have to meet these goals of reducing contamination and meeting the diversion, 35% diversion?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm proud to say that El Dorado Disposal, we have not thrown any recycling away. In Sacramento County, some of the companies down there have asked for permission and not done everything they could to sort out the material and make sure that it's marketable. We have not done that once. And so what we're doing right now is working with our processors. What they've had to do is add almost twice as many staff. They've had to slow down their belts and also invest in infrastructure, things like optical sorting that just is more accurate. And so those are some of the things on kind of the back end. On the front end, I know that with our new residential service guide, as well as looking at ways to get into some of our publications, I believe in Cameron Park Life, we're going to insert on what's happening in recycling. It's about I think a 6-page or 4-page kind of magazine type thing or newspaper type thing that folks will be able to read. Sarah will also have an article in there. And then we're looking at ways, we believe that one of the best ways to communicate with our customers is through the cart, frankly. A lot of mail does end up just right in the cart. So we're going to look at how we can advertise on that lid. Use it so every time you go out to your cart, you are reminded. We're also working on some magnets that can go on your fridge. Our annual mailers come out, it's just a nice fresh reminder. And like Jeff said, rotary chambers, everything else. And we're always open to ideas, and I think that's part of our time here with you, is if you have something now or you have ideas later, we're open, because this is really new. And so hopefully that answers, or Jeff has any more thoughts.
No, really, just education is the key. And understanding that what really hits home as a part of this paradigm shift is what we own is that for a very long time, we've said, if you're not sure, throw it in the recycle cart, because we'll sort it. And that's what we have to move away from now, and be specific, as we're trying to do here, and now say, this is what's going to be acceptable. Because of what's occurred now in China, and if you can imagine going from, if any of you've ever worked in a production or a distribution facility and had to worry about shrink, think about going from a 5% acceptable rate of throwing things away to a 0.5. That's a tremendous shift. And so this is what we're all confronted with. And so to answer your question, really it starts with education
and this paradigm shift where instead of saying, if you're not sure, throw it in the yellow cart, in the yellow lidded cart, this is what we need in the cart now. And this is going to be a process. It's going to take a while, and yet next year, we're expected by the state to be at 75%.
So I have a question. What diversion are we at right now? What's our percentage?
We will be given an annual presentation. You know what, we just sent that to Jill like a week or two ago. What is it?
I gave it to the president.
Well, you have April 2nd,
I'll know that by April 2nd, for sure, specifically here, and I apologize, we have a variety of jurisdictions, and I don't want to talk down my ball cap. I'd rather.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And then, do you have some of these flyers here tonight for everybody? Okay, great. I didn't get one at my home, but everybody did.
It's probably,
Yeah. So, I think from an education standpoint, that we should help out. You know, we have a newsletter, we have a website, you know, just like coming to these meetings, we need to be able to publicize. And I think the thing that we need to do is talk about the yes and the no. The no is even more important, I think, because people usually yes for everything. They know, because I found this out that styrofoam is recyclable anymore. And I went home and I just that one comment, I went to my husband, this cannot be recycled. Oh, why did we do that? And so we're not doing that, but what else is it that we're doing? So we really think that we can help with that.
Styrofoam is a great example of a commodity that at a point in time was actually being recycled here in California. And the end market and the process and all those business-related things didn't work, and it's now trash. And so we haven't communicated that. We haven't said, hey, you can't take styrofoam anymore, but that's what we're confronting with having to do now.
yeah, and I'd be happy to collaborate like, in any sort of way. These are the programs that I'm working on.
Jill will be a perfect person to talk to.
So we've already done this, actually, or a lot of it. Sarah's actually going to be the guest columnist and the general manager.
Right.
The one next month. Also, we've updated our website with all of this information and have flyers out. So, you know,
So let's put something in the newsletter every month.
yeah.
Item, this is not recyclable anymore. And next month is another one. Okay,
Thank you, Margaret.
thank you for coming. We appreciate your time and the education.
Our pleasure, anytime.
Oh,
Take us up on those right ones.
Oh, excuse me, I wait a minute, you're not off the hook yet. Questions from the audience, I forgot. Who would like to ask a question?
Oh,
And
are these new? Are these just coming out? Because I had never seen them before. These would have been very, very helpful to have. Like the same thing that Director Moore was saying, polystyrene. I've been throwing that stuff in the peanuts and all the packing material for years. I've been throwing it in there, assuming, and then I just heard at a committee meeting a few weeks ago that, oh, that's not, you know, so I'm glad to hear that you're going to take a kind of a multifaceted approach to it, because people have to hear stuff, you know, time and time again in order before it becomes ingrained and so forth. And the other thing is, you know, different methods of reaching out is going to reach different audiences and so forth. You know, you can see by coming here and talking to us, you reach a vast, you know, majority of probably five, other than board members also. So no, I mean that's a good plan. That you have to cast a broad net again and again and again, and just that general principle that you're talking about now. When in doubt, throw it out. Don't recycle. Because I consider myself a great recycler. I used to pull stuff out of the trash in the kitchen all the time. No, this can be recycled, you know, and put it in the thing now. Well, she was probably right. You know, it probably could have been recycled and so forth, but, you know, now I've got.
I'd be happy to speak to the flyers that you have specifically. So like we said, there's multiple fronts for recycling. So the flyers you have are specific to our commercial recycling program. So the recycling information is still accurate for your home. But if you'll look, you also have a food waste collection flyer, which is for commercial businesses.
Okay, I wondered about that, the difference between food waste and garbage.
Exactly, yeah. So for residential customers, if you're not composting in your backyard, then your food waste goes in your garbage. But for commercial businesses over a certain size, we have a food waste program that's available. And what I'm setting folks up, commercial businesses, for their food waste collection. I'm also doing some outreach around recycling and what goes in the garbage. That's why there's 3 posters. And then on the back, there's also the residential service guide, which is for residents specifically. And it's on the back of the calendar that's mailed out.
Question, is in identifying where the message will belong. Is
Yeah.
part of that going to be at source, meaning like grocery stores, places where these things originate? Is that part of the plan too? I'm sure forklift, as part of the design markets, would be very interested in partnering with that kind of thing. So you're getting the source of where people can take home, so they get where they buy it, maybe mailboxes, gang mailboxes for people that are congregating regularly, and know what kind of things you're already thinking about how you communicate that.
Yeah, I know just industry-wide, there's some work on the packaging front of getting proper labels, because right now, the recycling sign on the package, or the package has a nice, like, eco-friendly or green message on it. It's very misleading. So really the best place to find accurate information about what goes in your bin is from the processor or the collector, which is us. So that is, working with the packagers, that's, a little bit beyond El Dorado County, but, working with the Nugget or, working with some.
Yeah, I'm not talking about packaging itself, but
Yeah.
places where you buy it.
Messaging
Yeah,
there.
messaging on the doors or on the bags, so people when you take groceries
Yeah.
home, just where there's a consistent message where we're trying to get it.
Yeah, that's a great
Great
idea.
idea,
Yeah, we're going to the El Dorado County Chamber of Business Showcase this Friday. I know we go to the 4th of July, Summer Spectacular, so we do a lot of that, but I like your idea of like grocery congregating.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
And you're right about forklift and Nugget. They've been real leaders in recycling and also with food waste recycling. They've really been at the front
Maybe
end.
look at it, because forklift is kind of a unicorn in their family. Maybe that'd be a place for you to pioneer some of that.
Yeah, they were one of the first adopters of our food waste program, so that was really great.
Do you have another question over here?
Yeah, do you think this is going to affect the rates maybe in the future too as well with this paradigm shift?
Yes, that's why we're here.
Okay.
Our business model is upside down when it comes to recycling, and this is the first step in the conversation that will include a conversation about rates.
Okay.
Let me be completely transparent about that. I appreciate you asking the question. And I would certainly invite you to come back in April. We'll be back again, and we'll be fully able to inform about what that impact could be. Thanks for asking.
Thank you. Is there any other questions from the community? Carol? Anybody? Great. Well, thank you so much for your participation. We appreciate your time.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Is there any items that need to be approved or pulled at this time? We have a report that. Questions that I can ask them.
I apologize. I was prepared to report back to the board tonight for that, but we can certainly work with you on that. And I apologize.
Yeah, it's mainly checking on the credit card rates that we pay for our transactions.
Okay.
That's really the main concern.
We'll get back to you.
Okay.
I have 2 items being pulled, number 8 and number 9.
Oh, yes, I have that next. Request those as well. So, 8, 9.
8 and 9.
Yes.
So let's, number 8 and 9. Anything else, and just have approval for the consent agenda with item 8 and 9 removed, or do you already have?
No, I'll move to approve with the exception of pulling 8 and 9. Move to approve the conforming agenda, or consent agenda.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. So we will now move to open forum for any members of the public may speak on any item not on the agenda that falls within the jurisdiction of the board of directors. Comment during the open forum is limited to 4 minutes per person. Public testimony will be received on each agenda item as it is called. Is there anybody who would like to speak in open forum at this time?
Good evening. There are several things I'd like to bring up that aren't on the agenda. But I would like to say thank you to to the Board President Moore and Chairman Briskman. I asked about the grants, and they graciously put that on the agenda. Thank you. I would like to point some things out, though, just in general. This board, and I know that it may not be fair, but you are going to be charged with fiscal responsibility and being more fiscally responsible than past boards have been. I think we're more than aware now that we have a structural deficit, and the fire department's returned money, Cal Fire's returned money to us, but it's still not enough. We are falling short. I don't know that this board wants to go ahead and continue taking money out of our one-time fund, but that will be depleted eventually. And I'm hoping that this board will take fiscal responsibility seriously. I know that this center is underutilized, and I can tell you right now, everybody I've talked to, whether it's in Placerville or anywhere else that comes to this center, they just say, you are so lucky to have such a beautiful, wonderful center. Why isn't it being used? I can't answer that question. Certainly I and others have made suggestions that in the past other administrations didn't want to take up. I've got an idea for revenue that might work. It was discussed at one time of bringing a church service here on Sundays. I mean, that's something that would be a weekly event. I know for a fact that at Folsom Middle School, Bayshore congregation meets every Sunday. And I don't know if they have access to the cafeteria, but if they don't have a social hall in. And I suggested at one point that we just try to find something for a social hall, and then it was discussed. They're non-denominational evangelical churches that are looking for a place. Well, I mean, you've got the stage, you've got this center, you've got the kitchen. I mean, it would be perfect. And this was introduced years ago. It was discussed years ago, and it just fell by the wayside. Now, I stopped and think about what would our financial condition be if, for the past 4 years, we had somebody renting this facility, this hall, every Sunday. And Sunday is not a day that conflicts very much, with the exception of the quilt show. I mean, the quilt show is the only thing that I know of that goes on here on Sundays. Even the bridal fair, parking would be a problem, but that I don't think is in here. I think that's in the gymnasium, typically. Now, I may be wrong, I don't know. But that is an idea. The other things we're discussing, and again, there's been no follow-up, and this board is probably unfairly going to have its feet held to the fire because of past boards and administrations. But I mean, at one time I suggested, if you want to get this place rented, go out to the business community, bring business owners and managers in. If we have a concert, go to folks and invite the manager, give them a couple of free tickets. I'm gonna, go to a garage and give somebody a couple of free tickets if you do a Patsy Cline. Why not? I mean, they're going to see it, and they're going to be able to talk, and at that point, they can be corralled and spoken to. That, we do rent this place as well as other places. You might want to take a look at the swimming pool. You might want to look at the lake for a picnic, for a company picnic, or any kind of those events. And again, people used to come in and bring idea after idea after idea. I have emails that I've gone back from 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, with any number of ideas that haven't been acted on. And again, I'm saying, right from the wrong way, I think this board's going to be held more to fiscal responsibility than the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holopaugh. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak in open forum? Okay. Seeing none, then we will bring it back to general business, and we will do receive and file status of district efforts to seek and secure grant number 14.
So, anyway, yes, we are providing an update on our activities to seek and secure grants. Thank you, Mr. Holopaugh, for suggesting that we get this on the agenda. Probably most importantly, we have worked with Jed, who's the lead, on this grant application that we have But in total, it's $300,000, and a lot of it is about education, and then a lot of it is about fire fuel reduction. And so it will help us become compliant in our community and get the word out, and so that would be a great thing. Proposition 68, competitive grants are going to be due in August. Also, the district will get a per capita allocation based on our population. And what that means is because the voters have approved Proposition 68, there will be funding for capital investments in our park system coming to the district. And so there will be more on that. The Parks and Rec Committee is going to work on a process by which we will identify grants, working with all of our different community groups, so that we can put in applications for that. Also, we have a park master plan that was done in 2015 that we need to dust off and progress. Our Solar Energy Ad Hoc Committee is seeking grants, and also Mark First followed up with me from our conversation last month, and he's sending some information about solar grants as well. So I know it's always on our mind. We have secured some very small recreation grants, but we were successful in a senior grant, also some scholarship money. So there's all those things. And there is an interest in putting in the budget for next year a grant writer. And so we're going to go ahead and put that in the budget, and we'll have the board consider that and debate that in this upcoming cycle. So I will say that grants are one-time money for special projects. They won't necessarily help us align our operational costs, but if we got a grant to say refurbish a ball field or refurbish a restroom, that means that we wouldn't have to necessarily use our fund balance to do that. We could use the grant. So it will help us, but it's one-time money, not necessarily supporting our operations. With that, I can take any questions.
Does the board have any questions right now? So, Joe, would like to speak to this topic?
Thank you. And again, thank you for bringing this to on the agenda. Part of what I'd like to see, and thank you for that update, John and Richmond. If we're going to get a grant writer, obviously, in order for them to be worth their weight, they're going to have to be really, really working diligently to bring grants in, more so than what's been identified. And this is a very good start, and I appreciate that. But in my email, there were several things that I brought, and I'd like to express them now to the board. First of all, I would like to know which grant board members are directed the general manager and staff to obtain. I'd also like to know who will write, research, and submit grants and monitor the CSD's progress in obtaining grant money. Now, I believe it's important that the public be informed of the fiscal state of the CSD and any efforts to improve said state. To this end, I would like to suggest that a mechanism for monitoring this project be discussed and then established no later than June of this year. The mechanism can be a simple spreadsheet that details what grants are being pursued, the date the grant was submitted, and a monthly update on the status of each grant that is being pursued, and any final resolution of each grant application. This mechanism needs to be available to the public so that the public can assess the progress staff is making and of the board in supervising this project. Again, the sins of past administrations and boards are being visited on you, at least by me. That's just the way it is. I've been coming to these long enough, and I've seen these things, and again, I've spoken enough. I actually worked with Joe's predecessor and on 2 months in a row on how to market our facilities. I provided that. It was a two-page overview with my explanations, and a year later, I was asked about it, and when the staff was asked about it, none of them could find those suggestions. I know exactly where they went. They went into recycling. Yeah, they went straight into El Dorado Waste Recycling, and they're in China now. So again, maybe they're back. Maybe I don't know. Could have come back. But again, as I'm saying, if this is an
again, I understand this board is new, and I want to give this board every chance and all the support that I can. But again, the sins of past boards, we've been burned so many times, we've heard so many wonderful things that are going to happen, and so many proactive things that are going to happen, and they just fall by the wayside. But so many people have brought so many great ideas, and it's like, well, let's look into this, and then nothing happens. So because I am vested in Cannon Park by being a property owner, the one thing, and I've always said this, you know, if I don't have a vested interest, if you take me off the tax list of Cannon Park or buy me out, you'll never see me again. So I will be coming back eventually to find out what's going on and to try to kind of be a pro. And I'm going to try to be proactive, and anything that I can do to assist and help, I'm willing to do. But again, this board, this administration, I think has to turn the corner on this, and it has to be something that's done that is proactive and that is going to be taking the lead in you're right, General Manager. Anything that we don't have to spend out of our general fund is money that we've got more for in our general fund. And again, like I'm saying, if we had this place running out to the church for the last 4 years, every one of those Sundays would have been money in that we would be taking in, and we would have to be spending on out of our general fund. So again, I'm being attentive occasionally. I want to see things hopefully being as transparent as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this topic, or if not, we'll go back to the board, and I wanted to address a couple things that Gerald mentioned. I think it's a great idea to have a spreadsheet and to continue conversations back to the community about the grants and where they're going. And Gerald, you had asked what the board has brought up, asked the staff, and that's Prop 68 for sure, and they have been very diligent, and Vicki can actually speak a little bit more. We went to a seminar, right, on Prop 68.
Oh, we did it in Parks and Rec Committee review
And
conversation.
okay. And then the solar grant, so those are the two that we're focusing right now. I think what's really important about a grant writer is that they actually then go and do research too. There's a lot of grants out there that you have to dig into and really research and find out when they're up, when they're coming, what is it that we apply for. So that's a lot of work, but if anybody in the community actually does that too and finds these grants, send them our way, because that's another way that we know to apply for that. So that's all great. Is there any other comments on the board?
You know, just, this is very exciting. I'll be talking in my reviews with the fire committee, Parks and Rec, about a couple of grants we know we're already working on. But you just have to have someone who's going out to the Parks and Rec state website, list all the grants that are available in Parks and Rec. And so it just really is a matter of how much does the district want to invest in someone who will actually do that for us. I think it's very, very important. There's so much money out there that you have to ask for it. And to your point, someone who knows to go special, like all the jobs that we do in our life.
Right.
Okay? So thank you, Mr. Lola.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll go ahead and move on to the items from the consent agenda, and that is number 8.
So this is asking for the board's consideration of a resolution directing the preparation of the engineer's report for the continuing the annual assessments for the LLADs, or Lighting and Landscape District. This is kind of our kickoff resolution to go ahead and start this process to take a look at all of our LLADs. What did we spend last year? What are we going to spend this year? What were our actual expenditures? Get this budget together, and then the tax assessment has been assessed on that. So this is the kickoff effort to get SCI to start working. And we're asking for your approval.
So we do this once a year. This is our yearly. This is the board members. So do you have any questions?
I just have a comment that SCI has been doing this for some time, so I'm thinking next year we might want to do an RFP.
Yes, we talked about that.
Any other questions? And do you call for the vote, I think we do. Okay. So can we read the resolution first?
Yes.
Would you like me to do that? Sure. Next, this is resolution number 2019-05 of the Board of Directors of Cameron Park Community Service District from March 20, 2019. The resolution directing preparation of the engineer's report for the continuation of the landscape and mining assessment district, unit numbers 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 50. Streets and Highway Code, section 22, 22.
That's,
So we, by poll vote, we'll take a poll vote. Ready?
I'm sorry, ma'am, someone move to
Oh, move to adopt resolution.
I'll move to approve resolution 2019-05 as read by Director Moore.
Do we have a second?
Second. Okay, Director Moore?
Yes.
Director Scobie? Yes. Director Woodson? Yes. Director Morrison?
Yes.
Director Collins? Yes.
Okay, that resolution is passed with 5 votes. Then we will go ahead to number
Margaret, you
9.
forgot to bring that out to the public.
Yeah. Oh, I did say that.
Would anybody in the public like to speak on this?
Yeah, I'm questioning, I think you might have mentioned this just now, Dr. Scobie, and I didn't quite hear about, we've used SCI for, is that what you were saying, that we consistently use SCI? Well, first of all, we don't have a choice in this, right? This is manual. We have to use this engineering study here. Are there any other companies that do this? I know SCI is probably the biggest in the state. Are there any other companies that will do this study?
There are other companies that do these studies, and so you're absolutely correct, that this is a good company to go out and, or a good project to go out and bid on. When I arrived and the new staff was put into place, there are a lot of companies that this district has historically used for a number of years. So what we're trying to do is prioritize those projects that we want to go out and competitively bid on, because it does take effort and time on our part, so we're trying to manage our workload. We just completed an RFP process for our activity guide, and so that was something that we had done, Terry tried to get that a new look. I know that Vicki and I have talked about going out for a new auditor. We felt that that was very important to go out for a new auditor once we get these next audits wrapped up, to go out for that. So SCI is on our radar that we need to do that.
Thank you. Any other comment? And I will make sure and go out for the meeting. Number 9.
Number 9 is for your consideration, a resolution directing the auditor of El Dorado County to levy and collect assessments for enforcement of the CC&R. So again, this is the kickoff resolution, and this is, yes, we have a budget, and we can go through this budget process. We have charged $12, which is the maximum that we can charge on a parcel on an annual basis. So whereas the LLAs, there's a little bit more, I don't know very much, the flexibility is the right word, but there's maybe a little bit more variance, whereas this is kind of more of the $12 is kind of more historical fixed cost. That makes sense.
Is that based on a ordinance that was passed here, or is that on state law, or what?
Yeah, it's an ordinance that was passed here. She's in the ICE, she probably can tell you what year that ordinance was. Oh, it is, okay.
So it's fixed until we vote to change the version.
Right, it goes out to a maximum of $12. So I think that it took us several years to get to the $12, but it's been $12 and that's at $12. I think a couple of years ago, it dropped to 10 for a year, and then it bumps back up because our budget does meet that $12.
Do we have, So the maximum right now, do we spend more than what's in the CCNR budget than less?
There is a fund balance in the CCNR, and I divided my $1,000. So there is a fund balance in the CCNRs that I would say a fair fund balance. We budget $25,000 a year for legal fees. If we were to pursue something significant and through our CCNRs, that fund balance would be pretty much all of it.
Any other questions on the board? Does the community have any comments on this?
I was just trying to remember, something happened with this a few years back where we failed to direct the auditor to collect it, or we directed him to collect the wrong amount.
We directed him to collect a particular amount,
A particular amount that was.
but the general manager failed to reply when asked, is this in fact what you want to do?
Okay, proper confirmation, yeah.
It was,
All right, that's covered.
So now we are back to the $12. Is that what the vote, the board votes on it?
$12 well spent.
For everybody?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead, and read the resolution and get a motion. Okay. I'll be happy with it. The resolution number 2019-06 of the Board of Directors of the Cameron Park Community Service District, March 20, 2019, directing auditor of El Dorado County to levy and collect assessments for fiscal year 2019-2020. Resolution authorizing covenants, conditions, and restrictions assessment district for 2019-2020. That's it for the board. Do I have a motion to accept this resolution? Thank you, Director Wooten, and a second.
I'll second.
Director Carlson, second.
Okay.
And the call vote.
Director Moore?
Yes.
Director Stobie? Yes. Director Wooten?
Yes.
Director Morrison? Yes. Director Paul? Aye.
So if the resolution passes with a 5-0 vote. Thank you. Let's go on to number 11. And this is the purchase of 2 Ford F-250 utility trucks for fire department. So,
And Jed helped us write this report. All this stuff is on it.
This is for the purchase of 2 F-250 utility trucks for the fire department. We are going to pay cash for these 2 trucks. They were in our mid-year budget. These are an upgrade for the current 150s that we have at the fire district at this time. We are doing the upgrades due to the weight of equipment that is installed in the trucks after the purchase and the higher reimbursement rate from OES when assigned to the fires. We're recommending the purchase of the 2 trucks.
Is there any questions from the board?
I have a comment.
Director Skirby?
My comment is that the use of these for our battalion chiefs, it makes sense to me. But if we are going to be using them heavily on our weed abatement or driving excessively around town, we might want to consider our fuel efficiency and look into an additional vehicle. This is something I was just going to bring up in budget management, but I just want to make a comment on that.
So can you talk about the decision to pay cash instead of finance?
We have the budget in the mid-year budget to go ahead and pay cash. And for me, it makes sense to pay cash and not finance out.
I agree. I just didn't know if there's any other reason that you thought that cash. It does come out of the general fund in the end because that's part of our capital improvement.
And it was budgeted.
So, the original trucks that the fire department has now will go to the parks department, and which trucks will be retired out of the parks?
I don't know that we've done a complete assessment on that. It may be that we just retire one truck instead of two trucks because we're short one truck now. And we'll come back to surplus it, so all of the, any major equipment has to be surplus approved, so if we retire it, we'll go back to the board as well. With anything else that we find in the park shop that may need to go forward.
Okay. Basically, Chief, you see these two trucks are really just an essential part of the operation. I mean, they're just basic, what we need to do. The 120,000 miles is acceptable already for the current trucks that we have. Correct.
Correct, yeah, these are used daily. Myself and Chief Smith responding on the calls and as they get older, and then also to replace our utility vehicles that we also use that are all-purpose that go out in fires in the summertime that the captains will take out and for training and everything else. So they're used, all the vehicles are used just about daily out there. So.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and go out to the community. Do we have any questions?
Just some questions, is that, are these new vehicles? Are they used vehicles?
Be two brand new Ford F-250s that we will replace, and that will be frontline trucks. The two trucks that we have that myself and Chief Smith are currently driving now will become, we refer to them as utilities at Station 89, and then the two utilities that we currently have will be passed down to the Parks Department.
Is there a channel that you're purchasing through where it's more financial beneficial buying new versus a year or two old, knowing that
We can't.
You drive them all.
That was our next actually go over the podium,
Yes, you
and I've not been diligent.
That's all right.
If you have a good point, you want to hear it.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Drew.
I'll reinforce too, though, for the directors, we sometimes can't hear you with the mics. You need to eat them for us to hear you. Sorry, old tech guy. What is the fiscal rationale for purchasing new versus one or two years old where you're knocking off some of that, it's $5,000 less what you track on, a lot kind of idea.
One is the warranty factor that comes with it, and two, we're able to get on the DGS contract for downtown Ford, so we get them at the government rate and fleet government pricing, which is significantly lower than what any of us would just go out and buy the same pickup.
Perfect.
Make you walk all the way over here to ask one simple little question. If I gotta do it, you gotta do it. I know.
Is there a particular mileage that, for instance, CAL FIRE recommends replacement of vehicles?
It's between 100 and 120,000 for light trucks. Yeah.
That's the
As a front line, yes.
The light is gone.
Correct.
All right.
Thank you. Any other questions? It seems to me that the 37,000 for the Ford is a pretty reasonable price. That's what it is.
Yeah, I was significantly surprised at the difference between Ford, Chevy, and Dodge on that. And I think that has to do with the DGS contract with Ford right now. They're pretty good.
Okay, any other comments from the directors, and then we need to vote on the resolution?
The DGS is the Department of General Services for the state.
Very call. Okay. So should we read the resolution, maybe? Thank you. Resolution number 2019-07, Board of Directors, Cameron Park Community Service District for March 20, 2019. Resolution to approve the purchase of two utility trucks and grant general manager authority to approve all necessary purchase documents. This is on a road, this is a, not a road, it's a regular road. Okay, do I have a motion from the board?
I'll move.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Director Carlson moved and Director Stokely second. All those in favor? Aye. That's 5-0 vote, thank you. All right, next is the number 12, public hearing. Second reading and approval of ordinance number 2019-03, trying to restrict outdoor residential business.
So, last month, we were here to discuss a proposed ordinance that would change an ordinance that was originally approved in 2000 that established burning, restricted burning in residential lots less than an acre to 2 weeks in November and 2 weeks in April. What we discussed last month is taking the 2 weeks in November and moving it to December. So the proposed ordinance that we discussed last month has residential burning on acres of less than on residential lots of less than an acre can take place 2 weeks in December and 2 weeks in April. Since after your board heard it and asked staff to publicly notice it, we put it in the newspaper, we posted it here at the district, and the fire department could have had it as well. And so we did our public noticing, and we're back to have this public hearing about the ordinance.
Did we receive any feedback from the community administrator?
No.
Okay, there's no questions. Is there any questions from the board members?
It's less than an acre that makes sense.
I was wondering if the fire department heard anything regarding this?
We did not receive any feedback during that time.
Would anybody from the community like to speak on this? Okay,
Carol?
seeing none, let's go ahead and bring it back to the board for,
Just for the record, we should open the public hearing and then if anyone comments, they don't close it.
so I'm officially opening the forum public hearing for a feedback on the resolution that is the ordinance for restricting outdoor residential burning.
Ordinance.
It's an ordinance. So I'm opening the hearing for the community to respond to the ordinance number 2019-0320 to restrict outdoor residential burning. Is there anybody who'd like to speak? Mr. Wolf?
As I understand, this is, and I did respond to some issues that had been brought up at one of the meetings that discussed was going to be in December and April, and somebody suggested that maybe we should have a once a month. And I was vehemently opposed to that. As I understand, this is going to be, we've got it now in November and April, we'll just move it back to December because we have a longer fire season now. Okay, and so we're going to have the same, it's going to be the same restrictions that we've got right now, it's just we're changing from November to December and then continue on in April because we consider those to be higher humidity months. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure that we're not adding any days, we're not doing once a month, anything like that. Thank you.
And just Gerald's comments, I believe, were at the fire committee and then also for that.
Anybody else in the community who'd like to speak on this? If not, we will close the public hearing.
Okay, so I'll move to approve ordinance number 2019.
I'm sorry, do we read it? I just want to say.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I just want to say I really appreciated the conversation that we did have at the last meeting about this. And I understand the reasoning for moving it from November to December. I do have my concerns that December may actually in the end have less days that can be used. But the beauty of local government is that we can change the ordinance again in the future if need be. So I'm really pleased because I did listen to several of the committee meetings on CD, and I'm really pleased with all the work that's been done to reduce fuel in the community. I know we have a lot more work to do, but I'm feeling like a lot of progress is being made. So I just appreciate all the conversation and the input that we have on this. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, Director Morrison.
So, thank you for those comments. Move to approve ordinance number 2019.03.20. I full vote.
it a full vote?
It should be.
Yes. Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
So Director Morrison moved and Director Whedon second.
Okay, ready? Director
We
Moore?
have to read it first. Or did you read it?
I'm sorry, what is a full vote somehow different?
Yeah, I did. Instead of just an aye or yay, by vote, every one of them.
Okay, but it's still a majority.
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
It's just certain actions require a full vote rather than a voice vote.
So do we need to read anything, like here or anything else?
No motion's been made.
Okay.
Correct.
Director Moore?
Yes.
Director Stokes? Yes. Director Wheaton?
Yes.
Director Morrison?
Aye.
Director Collins?
Aye.
Okay, the ordinance is passed with a 5-0 vote. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to number 13, vote for El Dorado Local Agency Formation Commission, LAFCO representative.
So, LAFCO is filling a seat on their commission, and believe that the board in the past nominated Holly Morrison to sit in for that seat. She has done so, and so have two other candidates. I will let you know that the additional resumes were buried in the email, and so we apologize that they didn't get in your packet. They're fairly short, so if you want to take a minute to read them before you take that motion, that would be cool.
So before you do that, I just want to clarify. So we vote as a board on whom to move forward, correct?
Yes, and we make sure.
And then we also do not have to move forward two people. We can just vote one and move that one person forward. And then we put two people forward.
So,
So it's totally up to us.
And then does Holly have to recuse herself?
So we'll take a minute to go ahead and read, but I just wanted to bring that up.
And do people understand that concept of only moving one person forward?
Well, this is my understanding, and that is if you bring one person forward, then that one person will get the vote.
Right.
Where if you bring forward two people, two different people will get the vote.
Correct.
Because they vote in structure, if you read the packet, where if there's a tie for the first vote getter, the second vote getter adds to the second.
Right.
So it would be, my recommendation is put one forward.
I actually understood it differently. I did read the packet, and I understood we could vote for one as first preference and two as a second, and then voting for a second would not impact, would not reduce the chances of one receiving.
I read it the other way. I remember the last time we voted for Director Morrison,
So if I can just read from the memo.
This is giving you, what is the ranking you're giving for each one of the three?
Do you mind if I read from the memo?
That's what I'm looking at.
I'm looking at, it's called page 2, it's called El Dorado LAFCO Memo, attachment 13A, and the third or fourth paragraph. Please note that there are 2 seats that are up for election. Hold on, I lost my place.
Go to, Director Morrison, 13A has the vote.
Ranking additional candidates will not help defeat, your first choice candidate. So just as long as you mark a 1 for 1 and 2 for 2, so it's okay to vote for only one person, however, ranking additional candidates will not help defeat your first choice candidate.
Oh, right, because
We got to be in the May.
I mean, I think that the way that I read it and the way that I understood it, and I'm not sure how it's been done in the past, is that if you acknowledge here is our first candidate and here is our second candidate, I believe that that is an appropriate way to move forward and wouldn't reduce the chances of the first candidate. So, again, I'm a little I don't know how it was presented in the past, but from what I've read, it would be appropriate to call out a first tenant edit.
Yeah, and then on page 5 of attachment 13A, they're first going to count everybody's bid, going to count how many number one each candidate got. Yeah, there is. And if there's not enough, then they're going to go ahead and look at the number two after that. So it's
Thanks for the clarification. I think that says here, it's just that the person who's eliminated out of the three, it's just the first, they would be for their second choice. Whoever voted for that actually helped get two people. Looks like. Not necessarily, but.
Is there any further information available to help us decide on these candidates besides the resume?
I know Michael Saunders, and I think he's a good candidate.
So, yes.
And I think all the good candidates, so.
Now, we were requested to provide whatever information that we wanted to as to our participation in so people can read the information.
Well, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't grant all three of them. Of course, Halloween is one.
I think they only want us to mark a 1 and a 2. Oh, I'm right. You can do 3. Can I make a motion?
Yes, you can, unless there's somebody who'd like to go out to the community who'd like to speak on this issue.
You can vote basically for all three according to this page, so not those pages.
But we have to vote as a body there. So I would move to put Holly Morrison as number 1 and Michael Saunders as number 2. That's what I would like to see, but I realize I'm the only person who.
Wow.
Whoa.
There's a full room.
I think Mike left the room.
Wow. We have never had that.
Really want to put this out for the speakers.
So you're pointing out that way?
Yeah, it starts to pick up.
Wow.
And previously, that was that we deal with.
Duncan, now we know.
Thank you, Eric. Thank
Wow.
you.
Once again,
Keep the mic.
Okay, so I didn't see that anybody in the audience was uninterested in speaking on the topic, so we'll bring it back to the board and have discussion. And there's a motion on the table for a Holly Morrison vote number 1 and a Michael Sanders on number 2. Would you like to add to that the name Michael Phillips number 3?
Yes, that would be nice. But I was going to suggest we amend Felicity's motion by adding Michael Sung in as number 3.
Do we have a, I guess a second on that? Do we have a second? Director Carlson moves. I'll second.
You're seconding
The
Felicity, or
first
the
second.
one?
Okay, for clear.
So we're going to first step.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not Mike, I think Eric fixed it.
I'm giving you too much credit.
Yeah, okay. Full vote on that, so, okay, before Mike gets too much.
All right.
Director Moore?
Yes.
Director Stover? Yes. Director Wooten?
Yes.
Director Morrison?
Yes.
Director Coffey? Aye.
There's 5 ayes or yeses on this. Okay, now we move on to board information items and general managers to inform the board members and the staff. This would be the time that the board just talked about things and issues that they'd like to share with the other board directors, and we will do committee reports after that. So, would you like to start?
Yeah, and I'm just going to use my voice, having a little PTSD. I really wanted to thank a couple of the other directors for being my alternate when I was not able to attend committee meetings, so I really appreciate that. And like I said, I did manage to listen to, I think, 3 out of 4 of the meetings, and they're great discussions. As I said, I'm really excited about some of the work that's getting done, will be done by Receive, California Conservation Corps. I volunteered with some of the California Conservation Corps a couple of summers ago, taking them whitewater rafting. They couldn't have been sweeter. I mean, I just felt like it was just so sweet, and I really want us as a community to welcome them and not just be like, great, you're doing something for labor or whatever for us. So, I think you might be the person that may get in touch with you at some point in the, honestly, invite them over for a barbecue.
Talk to Mike. He's connected with their people.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and I really wanted to thank, Kate, how do you say the last name? I got Kate's right, I think I could have said it, but, I wanted to thank you for, meeting with me for a couple of hours Thursdays ago, and helping me have a deeper understanding of the CCNR system and process,
I'm thrilled to go to the CCNR committee. I love that committee, and it was really nice to be there. There's a lot of really good work that's happened. We'll talk about that in the committee report. I just really wanted to thank the staff for all the work on the cleanup of the parks. I know it's been an awful lot of work, and it shows. So, thank you very much to staff.
I'd like to say thank you to Kate for helping me, the Department of Transportation, exactly loves me at this point, but I don't care. And I think we're making progress on a specific goal of that. Thank you.
Director Scriven?
Well, I went to the local government workshop, and that was really great. I thank Jill and staff for putting that on. I mean, I think it has a lot of good information, and I learned a lot. I was a little concerned at first. It's like, man, I listened to this last year, but you always go because there's usually a gem or two that you pick up, and boy, there's a whole handful of them. So it turned out really good, and I'm just so excited that we are providing the service. And as Gerald pointed out, we are getting people from outside our community coming to our community center and kind of opening up people's eyes of, hey, look what we have here, look at that facility. So I think that was really super cool. I also went to the Cameron Park Design Review Committee that's appointed by the Board of Supervisors. I knew one of the committee members, and she invited me to come. So I just kind of sat there quietly and listened about what they're doing and what they're charged with and so forth. Let's see, they did a lot for the sign ordinance. It has not been adopted by the county yet, but it was presented here about a year ago, and so they're still working on getting, apparently, they were told that the county doesn't have staff at this point to go through and work with it, so. That was hopefully now they do. Yeah. I also want to let all my fellow board members know I will not be here for the August meeting, and I will be on vacation. And I was also looking here on the table to check our strategy and goals, and I didn't see them here on the table. I was a little, are they in there? Did I miss them? They're not in my folder.
And
So,
you have your,
No, no. So, I don't know, I was just looking for them. Do I bring them every time? Or they can be put downstairs? I think I left mine. I don't know, I didn't.
we'll have some spares.
Okay. Yes, because I left mine last time. And anyway, because those are important, so we want, I just kind of was looking forward to kind of cross-referencing with our goals, so. And then just thanks to everybody. I think things are moving along. I really appreciate all the input. I think it's important that we have our community members here and holding our feet to the fire. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do.
Well, I want to thank my fellow directors because everybody is doing their homework, really asking good questions, going to community meetings and getting ahead of it. They can't go and make sure that they have a director who can replace them so that we can continue our business. And I think that's very important. So thank you, directors, for recommending all the work that you're doing today. I just wanted to mention, too, that Director Scobie and I will be going to the Rotary tomorrow. We're talking to the Rotary about our goals and objectives for this year, our financial situation, our grants, and we have some other opportunities with sponsorship and just answer questions. We'll be doing that tomorrow, and then next Thursday, I will be going with Tina to the Spring Chamber Conference. So that's also good for us to hear now. Get that out. Any other directors want to go with me?
I'm an ambassador.
You are good. Will you be there already?
Which one?
Chamber Spring. A Chamber Conference.
Chamber of Commerce, later on this month.
Where?
Red Hot.
Red Hot.
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
is it a daytime?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, 11:30.
What date is that?
So,
What date is that?
that's March 27th.
Yep.
And I have a couple of things I forgot. Where are we? All right. This Friday from 4 to 8 at the fairgrounds in Placerville is a business showcase event. We've never been to that. It's a really great event. There's a lot of food, there's a lot of wine, and it really, we're going to have a booth.
Yeah, Tina sent out an email to all of you.
Yeah.
We're all welcome to help us handle it.
It is a great event. It is the movie people, the people who promote the county to the movie industry. There's all kinds of interesting, different people who show up at this event. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the Special District Leadership Academy Conference, and if the district is going to budget for a
Yes, so that's the next year. So, the last thing that I wanted to bring up was, I will not be here for the July meeting. I will not be here for the July meeting. That's the no Wednesday there. And then, Saturday, March 23rd, the Red Cross is doing Family Alarm, and we're going to be in Placerville, and I'm going to be volunteering to install fire alarms in the Golden Hen Park up there, and the name of it, Red. I know. So they're always looking for volunteers, if anybody's interested in joining, so that's great. And that is it, and the next thing we wanted to talk about, General Manager, is upcoming trainings and community meetings. So we talked about community meetings everybody attending, but upcoming trainings, that came out of the actual update last week from the meeting, local government policy meeting, that if we are interested in going into training of any sort, the board members should bring it to the board, and then we will vote on whether or not we can have that or support that. Okay, Jill, you want to give a little more on that?
Yeah, so there's two things that we learned at our, that we added to this agenda as a best practice, and it was for board members to acknowledge any community members, community meetings that you were attending, so the full board was aware that you were attending a meeting on the district's behalf, so you could act as an individual other one is that if you were going to be attending any training, so I know that next week on Tuesday, we've got Denise attending the local government. I think that, Felicity, that was when you were able to attend.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so that should be good. A lot of the staff are going. This is a training that is sponsored by our insurer, SDRMA. Also, and this, I just wanted to acknowledge the first Wednesday in April, I can't remember the date, Rich Ramirez will be here, and he's our speaker for our next local governance workshop. Okay. And I just wanted to say before you turn it over to somebody else, Mike and I are not wearing matching shirts because we coordinated today, but we volunteered at the California Parks and Recreation statewide conference that is being held in Sacramento today. So Tina was there as well, so that's why we have our Wednesday.
Director Carlson, I actually thought I probably should mention, I did attend a county board of supervisors meeting. I can't remember now. A couple days ago. Yesterday. Thank you. And I spoke on my own behalf and said that to Mike, but I did also identify myself as being a member of this board, but I was there to support the board of supervisors' efforts to examine the housing situation. It was good.
And I was at Jess's kind of hearing. And it was pretty good. Supervisor Chief was there also.
Thank you, directors, for being so active in the community as well. So that's another big kudos. Okay, that's it for the training. And you want to talk about the CSBA nomination?
So, I think that CSBA is seeking nominations for a position. And so if any of you were interested, we can send this information out via email. So if anybody is interested, just let us know. I can follow up. I think you and I spoke about it. It was in Sacramento.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and start with committee reports, and we'll start with LAFCO, Local Area Information Commission, Director Martin.
The thing about the last meeting, most of what happened is that we vote to extend the time that developers or communities requesting to get the work done in order to comply with whatever it is they're applying to have done. And so that's the reason we have to go to that meeting.
Market development.
Yeah, it's approving extensions, if there's annexations that are going on, someone needs particular service. So,
Do the extensions get approved, or?
most of the time, yes. Yeah, because there are limits, so they have particular opportunities to extend. But it's not limited. So that's pretty much what's happening.
Okay, let's go to committee reports, budget and admin, Director Skibby.
Let's see, we brought forward to you the EID presentation, since we will be looking at a rate increase. We figured that we needed to get the board involved and invite them to, sooner than later, and the public involved. So we asked them to come to present this today. We also discussed other capital campaign in terms of how we could go about doing that, and we decided it was going to be a challenge. So as we flesh out some of those ideas, they'll be coming forward. We also discussed reserve policy, and because we are operating at a deficit, it's not quite appropriate this time to establish a reserve policy, but we did want to discuss it and keep it on the radar, because it's something that we do want to bring forward in the future. And, I think that was pretty much it. Do you have anything that we're going to say? You want to add?
No, I think the only thing about the capital campaign that you were discussing, and other ideas, that revenue generating opportunities, not just small, big scale type revenue generating, but larger ones, is that it takes a lot of research and time, and it takes a lot of staff time to do it. So that's one of the concerns, and so that's why we're going to continue to address that in every single one of the budget matters. Like we were talking about, in fact, the communities, they were great because they get to pitch in and give ideas as well. But we have been asked to pass, staff with the same question, and so we take information and so that's why we need to get this work. Okay, CPNR?
Rotates on the road quite often. It's part of her vocation. I did come over the issue on Granite cul-de-sac, the girl, Oxford, over there. And she's working with them now, and it's kind of setting it ended up. They fix the potholes soon, no date, soon. I'm hoping that's in the next month, but we'll see. And then they're going to do some paving, retaining walls in that area. And that'll be a little while. That generally means 6 months to a year. I'm sorry, but that's generally what a little while means to the department. And I did talk to the gentleman there. And hopefully it will help move soon a little earlier. She's done things since the last meeting, obviously, and she's got the numbers here.
Fire and emergency, Director Martin?
So we covered actually quite a bit at our committee meeting. One of the main items was the information about the California Conservation Corps work project and how the district is utilizing this incredible, tremendous opportunity that we have for this team of workers to come in and assist our Brownsburg team and our own staff. As you may or may not know, they will be staying at Cameron Park Lake, camping at the Depot, and going to dinner at Director Woods. We talked about the Firewise community initiative. Very few communities get this distinction, and we're working toward that. Yeah, that would be great. Regarding the weed abatement program, for the improved lots portion, a new employee was hired, and I know that the interviews were going on for second one, and the second one was hired. Great. So we have 2 employees for the unimproved lots and 2 for the improved lots. The postcard design is being completed for the improved lot program, and the first postcards were sent out February 14th for the unimproved lot program. So we are obviously looking forward to seeing how this is all going to work out with a tremendous staff, and I think just the timing of it all will be interesting. So we'll report on that next month as we meet some early deadlines.
Yes,
Rob, these are the postcards that they're sending out. They should be going out within the next couple of weeks. They went to print.
These are for the improved
Yeah,
lots.
you guys can take a look at
Unimproved lot postcards went out February 14th. So that's going to be interesting, because, you know,
That's just an example, they're hitting the plank, but they had to make a few adjustments on there.
hopefully the word's gotten out,
Yeah.
you know,
They
we're
don't
leaning
start
about
that
that.
way quickly, it doesn't end up in the right in the recycling.
So, you're a good size, this is not something that you're gonna just miss in your mail. So, thank you, that's exciting. As we know, the contract was signed for the new engine for Station 89. 2 new trucks. Purchase has been approved. $14,000 was brought in at the craft meet, which was fantastic. And we're anxiously awaiting the results. Where are we? 20th of March. In another month, hopefully, the result of the California Climate Investment Fire Prevention Grant Program.
After April 1st.
After April 1st. That was written by the Cal Fire staff, with support from our staff. So, lots of important deadlines coming up here.
So, we're going to continue with
Parks and Rec, we discussed the construction warranty, that is all still in process, and I guess I was going to ask Jill if there's been any updates since the committee meeting. Still in process. Okay. Staff, as was mentioned earlier, staff attended a workshop on the Prop 68 statewide park development and community revitalization program. The purpose was to receive information about competitive grants that are available to the district for park improvement projects. We are in conversation about dogs being allowed in Cameron Park Lake. We have a survey that will drop, I think, April 1st. Maybe yes. It will go to all of our usual media locations, Facebook, Nextdoor, etc. And I believe Director Scobie and I are going to be working to broaden the impact. And we'll be visiting the lake and Hathaway Dog Park to meet with park participants for their respective locations.
We're going to Hathaway Dog Park, or that would just be
I think Dog Park as well, to garner responses to people who already participate in one of our local parks, and would they also be interested in being able to walk the lake on leash. It's a different concept, operation on leash, but
Is this sign going back up on the dog park? There's a very large sign that Mike put up. And
Was it the orange one about the vandalism?
yes,
It got destroyed when a tree fell through the park. But
Vandalized?
Well,
there was like a break in the
Yeah.
dog park, in people's
we've had some
cars.
incidents of people breaking into cars while about having their dogs inside areas.
is it going to be replaced?
We haven't talked about it, but I feel like the lot across the street that got cleared out, and then all the property that the district's been working on around Hacienda, it's all cleared out, so I feel like the potential for someone to break in is minimized greatly. So at this point, I don't feel like we need to, because there's not really anywhere to hide. And,
Well, that was
So we'll
not
see
safe
to
at
be
first.
determined.
Yeah.
but we can't,
Yeah.
you know.
Excuse me. That was my big concern. They have asked me, but if you feel that way, that's fine. You're probably right.
So we'll see if we need it. Yeah, we'll bring that up.
Thank you.
Okay, Director McCormick, Parks and Rec.
We're good.
Then we go on to the Solar Energy Ad Hoc Committee. That is, the chairman of that is actually a committee member, and time for today. So Eric, would you like to be the one to report back on the panel? Yes, you would, that'd be great. It's on us.
We met, we talked, we had a grand time. Yes. Our last meeting, I was prepared. So, our last meeting, we set up our next meeting, which is March 28th, at which point the Director of Maintenance and Operations for the El Dorado Union High School District is going to come to us because the high school district is in the process of implementing a solar plan at all 4 high school locations. I got to go to the presentation that they gave at Ponderosa to hear the process. And so in that, both what they agreed to and a company that they hired to vet proposals was talked about. So Dan will be coming to our meeting to talk about that, answer some questions that we have, as well as introduce us to the information on the company that they use to vet proposals. So I'm really excited to hear from him. He's excited about the project that the high school is doing and has gone through a lot of the questioning process that we would do. So I think he can save us some good time in our process for that. I was encouraged too at our meeting, as you mentioned, that we talked about looking for grants and doing the process. And really enjoyed our meeting at El Dorado Hills CSD. Ken was really helpful out there. So I like the synergy that happens then when they say, hey, we can do our spreadsheet, you can plug in the numbers, just makes our process that much easier and more efficient. So I'm encouraged where we're at.
That was good. That's it.
You're welcome. And I'm done.
The community is welcome to the Solar Ad Hoc Committee meeting. So if anybody is interested, the community is welcome.
The reason, if I may add to this, the reason that we are looking at these other agencies who have implemented solar is that the board has a policy that if somebody else has done a competitive bid process for something that is very similar and we like the product, we can actually adopt what they have done. So we save time and effort because we are adopting somebody else's RFP process. So still a lot to determine on that, but that's part of why we're going out and looking at these other organizations, because we could simply, if we find something that's suitable for Heron Park, we can simply adopt what they have done.
I'm sorry, just one other comment that I'll bring to this. I'll bring it to you. Sorry, I didn't get the mic before I talk. Just a footnote, I don't know how much it will impact us, but I encountered a little bit of community stirring over the solar installation at Ponderosa, and it might have been confined to a handful of people online, which those things tend to be. But there are some folks who were a little upset with cutting down trees at Ponderosa High, not knowing what was going on. Now, without getting into all of the specifics of that, that just tells me we want to continue to advertise our committee meeting. We want to advertise the plan and make sure that we are letting the community know, here's our process, here's what we're doing, so that if everyone comes back, we can say, well, this is what we did, we made it available to everybody. I doubt we'll get the same kind of pushback, but...
It could be something else, and I think it's important.
Right. So that was just a key for me to say, we'll just continue to...
And the tree conversation is continued offline, I think.
Oh.
Probably reaches multiple meetings.
Okay.
And truthfully, Dan went through the same thing. They needed to that before he got it all together with the else was.
Okay.
And that's a pretty good sized project.
Okay, thank you. And Rick, should we do anything else?
Yeah, the only other thing that came up is that we really tried to look closely into what our purpose of our meeting was, because there's both the solar aspect and then conservation aspect. So we were looking, really that we're looking more at a long-term solar operational, and that we can scoop up any, low-hanging fruit along the way as we're looking at that. But it's something that we are considering, but the big push is for the solar operational phases. That's it.
Okay, that ends the committee reports, and now let's move on to public comment. At this time, members of the public may speak on any closed session agenda items. Closed sessions may be called as necessary for personal litigation and legal relations or to meet the negotiated requirements to purchase, sale, change, or lease of real property. Members of the public may address the board prior to closed meeting. Is there anybody who'd like to address the board at this moment? Okay, seeing none, then we will convene to closed session. Thank you. For the record, I'm reading the item before we close. So you're ready to convene to closed session to do item number 1, pursuant to California Government Code 54957, B1. Consider the employment of employment of a public employee. Number 2, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to California Government Code 54956, B2. And then number 3, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9. Thank you. Now we will convene the closed session.